and welcome to our Nexus YouTube channel, where it's our aim to ignite a passion in the next generation for God, for people, and for life. If you want to get involved in what God is doing in the lives of our students in the Pacific Northwest, you can email Pastor Brandon at fxcmilton.org. We love you and hope you enjoy.
My title for today is going to be about finding... Okay, so my title today will be Fighting Through a Battle of God. I don't have slides, so that's kind of sad, but I'm sure you guys get what I'm trying to say here. So there's been moments in our lives where we feel like we've gone through battles, right? Like you guys have times where you go through seasons of just like stress, anxiety, any other kind. There's, in the Bible, in 1 Samuel 17, we have a story where David fought and went against Goliath, and that was like a battle for David, right? And so as he was going through that, he had a hard time like figuring out what to do to fight for him. And so he was reminded that when he was battling through the lion and the bear, he was reminded in that time that like through these armies he was able to get through that. So I just want to look at that because I feel like it shows that even through that situation, he was able to fight and be able to just get through that and be able to fight for the Lord and not for just like something, like he had a purpose for it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about my battle and like what I went through. Back when I was little, I was still trying to discover who I was, and that was like a really hard battle for me. Like I didn't know what to do. The enemy was trying to get into me and trying to put words in my head that like I didn't know what to do. I was really stuck in that time. But I realized that God like has amazing plans for you, even through the battles. I realized that even when things do happen, you'll be thankful for them later in the future. Because like even if it was bad, like he has purpose and he will make that better for you. Also in the verse Deuteronomy 24 in the Bible, it says, "For the Lord your God is he who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies to give you victory." I feel like that verse really says that like he's the fighter. He will fight with us and be there with us when we're going through our battles. He will give us victory, and he will be there for us no matter what. This is like something that I came up with as I was reading it, but to get through a battle with God by your side, get where you want to go in life by accepting where you are at. I feel like that really is good because you want to be real with God. You want to put effort into getting to know him. I think it's really important to be patient with God and just talk to him and open up to him, because it will lead you to be able to speak up and be confident. I also believe that being intentional with God will help you, because letting him be able to heal you and restore you will bring you in the long run. Jesus is always there to lean with us. Like it's hard for us to realize that, but he is always there, and his presence is always there for you. And then I just want to share that there was a verse that really stuck up to me like for a very long time when I was going through my battle. Jeremiah 29:11. I think a lot of you guys know that verse, but it says, the Bible says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future." I think thinking about this and putting this in my mindset, it just really helped me to get through my battle, because it was crazy, because like going through that, I was stuck, and to like see how much of an impact he has made in my life when I was following him, it really has put me into this time now where I can be confident, I can speak up and be that voice and be able to make an impact on others. So God is bigger, and he can take over our weaknesses and help us to win our victory.
So super good. And it's kind of cool thinking about how it wasn't at all planned that we were going to talk about battles. And then the first song we sang was like talking about that. That's God. That's God working. And I just want to say, even adding on to it, fight well now, because the battle that you ignore now is going to come back to haunt you later.
Yeah.
So fight your battle well now, as you're young, as you are forming habits, as you're forming your life. Fight that battle well, in all ways. Fight with prayer. Fight with who's next to you and who your friends are. Fight that battle well. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. So next up, we got Lauren.
So Lindy touched a little bit on patience, but mine's basically on patience. So I want to ask you guys a question. Have you ever prayed to God and asked him for something in your life and he didn't answer yet? What did you do? Did you take it into your own hands? Get mad at him? Was it because you ran out of patience? So my story is at work. I work with little kids, 6 months-old to 6 years old, and it's all about patience. Like today, for example, they were playing with a truck, and one kid just really wanted that truck, and the other one was playing with it. Didn't want to give it up, and I really had to stand there and be like, okay, and then go for it. So my big idea is that to trust the Lord, know He's in control, knows what He's doing, and why He's doing it. So in Psalm 37, verses 7 through 9, it says, "Be still before the Lord, and wait patiently for Him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, and when they carry out their wicked schemes. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret, it only leads to evil. For those who are evil will be destroyed, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land." So I perceive this in a way of we need to constantly remind ourselves that the Lord is in control and He knows what He's doing and why He's doing it. Reading Psalm 37 reminds us that the justice system of a man is inconsequential in the long run, and that we should wait patiently on the justice of the Lord. God's justice system is flawless. David's goal in writing Psalm 37 was to remind us of our place in God's creation. We get impatient because we often forget that He is God. He always has a plan, a perfect plan for us, and He knows what He's doing. We cannot change alone. We have to have Jesus in our lives to do so. It will never hurt to ask from fellow friends or family. We cannot ask God to speed up His process, especially because the biggest projects take the most time.
That's good.
Instead, we could ask Him to give us more signs that He's still working. As humans, we expect to see the progress and be given answers whenever. A way to practice being patient is forcing yourself to be patient. Distract yourself by reading. I believe that we need to give Him the patience that He gives us.
So good.
That was really good.
Wow. Give Him the patience He gives us. How much patience do I get? All right. How much patience do I get? God. It's not usually that much. So. Awesome. So, if you haven't figured it out already, next up, we got Cheyenne. I'm super excited.
Let me open this up.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to use this. I'm just going to talk. First of all, that was really good. First one. There you were. Okay, both of you guys did so good. Now for my turn, and I just wanted to say this out loud. My confidence is in God, and I may cry. Just warning you. Okay. So, plane is crashing, and the oxygen mask is drawn. Can someone tell me why we put the mask on ourselves before someone else? Anyone?
Because we don't.
You can't really help somebody, you can't help yourself.
Okay, yeah. So that you're stable enough to help someone else. We've talked about making sure our foundation is stable, and what comes with that is confidence. Confidence in God, and only God. That's why I needed to say it aloud. In order to help others love themselves, you need to love yourself too. So my big idea or title is learning to love yourself.
why is it so hard to love ourselves? That is a question I've been asking myself for so long. I can't pinpoint exactly when I stopped, but it became clear as I realized my smile was fake, or when I avoided my reflection, when I stopped eating, when I couldn't, there was thoughts in my head, this is not my notes, there was thoughts in my head, I was contradicting every single thing that came to my head. I'm stuttering, sorry. But every single thing I thought of, something else would come up and say, don't say it. And that is definitely the devil holding me back. And right there, I didn't write it in my notes. But if something's telling you to say it, you gotta take that leap of faith. So for me, it took opening up. It took being able to say I hated myself. And when I did, all the people that cared for me came running. They didn't know I was living with this burden, but once they found out, they were willing to take it off me. They were willing to put their baggage aside and take mine. And I hadn't realized I had this weight until God said I didn't have to deal with it anymore. He puts people in our lives for a reason. He puts experiences and struggles there for a reason. I know you've probably heard this 100 times, but let it sink in. Everything happens for a reason. I was constantly moving around, having to meet amazing people just to leave them. But if I hadn't left, I would have never met any of you, any of this amazing church. And if I had never been pushed down in my life, I would have never learned how to get back up. If no one ever talked me down, I would have never learned to listen to only God, for He is the only one that speaks the truth. If I hadn't listened to Him, I wouldn't be here. I used to think I was a burden. I used to think my life didn't matter. I used to think God would never love someone so broken, but broken people is exactly who He uses. Don't cry. Sorry. Okay. Right, I'm sure many in this room can relate with me when I say confidence is something I struggle with. But we need to put our faith in Him. Look at yourself and see how He sees you. Are you aware He loves you? Are you aware that you are His child, the children of Yahweh, that you aren't alone, and that He does not see you as a burden, but as a light that shines brighter than all the stars combined. No, really, let that sink in. You are not a burden, you're royalty, the children of Yahweh. No matter what you do, He lives in you, and He will always forgive you. No matter how deep of a hole you think you've sunk or dug yourself into, He is always there with you, and He will always forgive you. I can't thank everyone enough. And sometimes I wonder if you're aware of the impact you've made on my life. And it's not just me that's been impacted. Are you aware? Every single one of you have made an impact on those around you. You could have said a small compliment that meant the world to someone. You could have inspired someone to go and achieve what they thought was impossible. You could be that someone that is looked up to in so many ways. And I'm saying that because I know you are and you have. You've all inspired me to come up here and preach. You've all given me the confidence to be myself, and you've all shown me what a church of Jesus Christ is. I told myself for quite a while, why have confidence? What's the point of putting myself up there if they're just going to push me down again? 1 Peter 5:7 says, cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. Is that not a reason enough to rejoice? To shout from the rooftops, He cares for me. He sacrificed His life for me. The least we can do is stand up for Him. He stood up for you. Every single time the devil said that you are not enough, you are a burden, whatever thoughts that are against you, He said you are enough. You are enough, my child. Now go in peace knowing I love you. God can achieve the impossible, and you can too. We cannot do anything with our own strength, but it's His strength that lives in us. The reason I'm able to stand here preaching to you is because I asked Him to give me the strength to. 1 Corinthians 10:12 says, let him who thinks take heed lest he fall. Because there will always be the risk of falling. But it's His strength that keeps us standing tall. And it's His strength that will allow us to walk on water. God provides the opportunity, but it's us that need to take it. He loves us, and that's all the reason we need.
I today was literally just talking with Pastor Greg about all of those things that I felt toward myself as like, man, I'm not good enough, and having those feelings, and he was talking to me about that. So it's like, we all struggle with it. So thank you for being open and honest, and awesome. Well, last but not least, we're headed by Natalia.
help me match that. Man, that was good. You guys are amazing. And, man, I just want to start off by saying I love all of you, even though, like, maybe, like, some of you guys I haven't talked to before, but, like, each one of you has an incredible story, and feel free to share it. Like, God is doing some amazing things through you guys.
Yeah.
And that's so awesome.
Yeah.
So, I actually do have a PowerPoint, because I know I'm a visual learner, and so it helps me.
It's broken.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so I'm going to talk about faith and having divine faith. So we're not just having a faith that we're putting into things or just saying, oh, I have faith in God. We're getting this divine faith coming from God.
Yeah.
And so I want to just start off by saying, what does divine mean? Divine, literally you can go on Google and it will say of or from God. Like, the world cannot deny it's from God, right? Faith is a complete and confident trust. And so divine faith together is having unshakable trust in everything God reveals to us.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. We are giving back our faith, what God originally gave to us. He gave us that faith, and we're just bringing it back to Him. So where does this faith come from? When it's from Him, when we surrender to God, that is when we choose to believe, and faith is a product of that, because faith doesn't exist outside of salvation. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't believe in God, how would I know I could wake up tomorrow? It's impossible. Okay? Because even if the world ended right now, where are we going? We're going to heaven. I'll still wake up tomorrow because I trust God.
Yeah.
I could go out to my car and I could start driving home, and I could be like, okay, car, take me home safely. But really, I'm not putting my faith in the car. The car's not going to do anything, right? It's God I'm putting my faith into. It's God who's going to carry me home safely.
Yeah.
So, how do we grow in this faith? We have to believe God is good in every single season we're in. And this, it's amazing because this really ties into what everybody else was saying. In literally every season, and some of the ones I thought of were doubt, worry, having to have patience, learning. How many knows that school is a season?
Yeah.
It's rough, right?
Facts.
It's rough. But God brings us through. God brings us through it. Some other ones are opportunity or fulfillment. And just being able to trust that God is going to fulfill those plans that He gave you. But yeah, I think the coin phrase for youth this past year was God is good all the time.
All the time.
God is good, right? And we just have to continue believing that and repeating it to ourselves, It's so important. And so why I say have faith in all these seasons is because these seasons are to test us. Sometimes God is testing us to see if we can grow our faith, to really declare that we trust Him. And so maybe, if you're going through the hardest season you feel like you've ever had, sometimes you just need to sit down and pray and worship, because that's the only thing that'll get you through it. God is the only one who can get you through that. You're not alone in it.
Yeah.
You're not alone. James 1:3 says, testing of our faith produces perseverance. That's so important to have. And each time we're tested, our faith grows a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and it builds. And that's all I had for my notes, but I feel like God wants me to say something else, and I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but He wants me to say something. I kind of want to tie faith to worship in a way. most of you have seen me lead you guys in worship, or just being up here in worship. And I was actually debating on talking about worship tonight, but I felt like that was something that I need longer to talk about, right? Because I feel like I'm called to worship and be able to make music for Christ and just the kingdom of God, and just our community of the church, and who we are. And I know for me, something that I have been tested in is, I guess, having confidence in myself. And that's amazing that you talked about that too. And it's not in drumming, because I don't know, that was a gift from God. And like every instrument I played was straight from God. But I always felt, I was always told growing up, like, don't sing. Like, you're not good at it, don't sing. And it was something I really loved to do, right? And so it really broke me down. And when I started singing, and when I started praising God, in my own voice, and even like leading people into it, that's when my faith started to grow more. That's when I was at my worst, with almost all these attacks on me. That's when God brought me out of it, and he was like, this is what I made you for. And so I just want to leave you with that whatever God made you for, do it. Just do it, because he's going to do something incredible through you. And even if you never find out who you touched or who took impact from what you said to them, it still matters. It all matters. So I want to leave you with that.
I think it's kind of cool, just thinking how you ended that, just thinking like you touched lives. And then Cheyenne was even talking in her part that like some of you don't realize that you're touching lives.
Yeah.
That every person you come into contact with, you're making an impact in their life.
Yeah.
Don't ever discount a moment.
Yeah.
Don't ever discount a moment with another person, because you don't know what they're dealing with on the inside. You don't know what they're dealing with, what they're struggling with, what they're holding over themselves, and what the devil is trying to bring as a foothold into. You have no idea. And just one word that you're saying could pick them back up.
Yeah.
So don't ever discount it. I don't know where that came from, but it was on my heart. So we're going to pray. I want to give you guys an opportunity as we're praying.